What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another recruitment video. And for this one, we're going to be talking about probably one of the most polished quarterbacks in the 2024 class and an absolute stud at the high school level, playing for Heisman High, Mater Dei Elijah Brown, who just committed to Stanford yesterday. We're going to talk about what this means for Elijah Brown and for the Stanford Cardinals, landing an absolutely stud quarterback prospect. So as you can see here on the screen, I've got up a little bit of what he has done over his high school career. That is, you've got to admit that is pretty impressive. Over 6,000 passing yards, 76 passing touchdowns, 7 rushing touchdowns, 105 rushing yards, 11 touchdowns, and most importantly, a 70% completion percentage. And we'll kind of pull that back up here in a minute, but I want to talk to you guys a little bit about him, obviously. He is a phenomenal player. So he is a 4-star currently in the rankings, and as I like to do, I like to go through all of the industry. So at On3, they have him as QB 10. And a 4-star. 24/7 Sports has him as a 4-star and QB 3, so they are very high on him. He finished fairly well in the Elite 11 finals as well this past week. ESPN has him as a 4-star and QB 7, while Rivals has him as QB 7 and a 4-star as well. So he's a 4-star across the board. I don't know that he'll get up into that 3-star range, but he should have another really good season. You know, again, if you just look at those stats, and he's fairly good size as well. 6'1", 200 pounds. He's just a very good quarterback prospect. And what makes him even more interesting, everybody knows Dylan Raiola, right? He gets the comps to Patrick Mahomes. He's this incredible prospect. He's the number 1 QB in the class. Elijah Brown beat him twice last year on his way to a state championship, and he also beat Malachi Nelson, who is the quarterback who went to USC this past year, the Lincoln Riley recruit. He is an incredibly good player, and again, playing at what many consider Heisman High. I mean, that's what they call Mater Dei because of how many Heismans that school has won. It's a phenomenal school. They're usually ranked in the top of one of the best schools in the nation, and we're about to throw up his tape right here so you guys can watch this as I keep talking about him. Again, he really is a phenomenal player. Very, very good mechanics. Some of the best that you will see in this class. He's a very polished player. I think, again, he could easily step on the field day one and be the starting quarterback for them as a true freshman, which we do not see a lot of. He added 20 pounds as a junior, so we already saw that took over again. Heisman High, what they call. He has a stellar win-loss record against top competition. For him to have that 70% completion percentage, I think just speaks even more of how accurate he is. Obviously, not a lot of quarterbacks have that, even in high school. While he's not going to blow you away athletically, it's his mind that I think is a phenomenal tool for him, and it reminds me a lot of C.J. Stroud's. His ability to quickly diagnose what the defense is doing on the field and get the ball to where it needs to go is incredible. He sees the field really well. He knows what throw to make, really good processing, always making the right throw, really good in the middle of the field as well, which I think is phenomenal for him. He does know how to throw off platform a little bit, but doesn't do a lot of rushing. We saw the rushing stats there just a minute ago. I don't think that he's going to, be this big rushing threat, just 105 rushing. I'm sorry, it's actually 56 rushing yards. I messed that up. Only 56 rushing yards for him. So he's not going to be that massive rushing threat, but it doesn't matter. This bad boy right here is all that matters for him. That arm. He has got a fantastic arm, as you just saw that throw right there. I'm gonna rewind it here really quick so we can kind of see that, because I think that's a really great throw from him. I mean, look at that. That is a beautiful throw to the end zone there. Places it perfectly. That's how he's gonna win right there with the arm. Stanford is going to be an interesting place. Obviously, it looks like Ari Patu is going to be the starting quarterback for them this year. They did bring in they have a sophomore on their team as well, and Ashton Daniels, a 3-star. But it's not unfair to say that the minute Elijah Brown walks into that room, he is the best quarterback there. And I do think that he will start as a freshman, unless Ari Patu just goes out there and has an amazing season this year, which is possible. I really like their coaching staff right now and what they're doing at Stanford. I think that this team has a chance to be really good, actually. And E.J. Smith, I think their running back, Emmett Smith's son, could be a really good player for them as well. I think that this team is going to be unfortunately down a little bit. But this is arguably the best quarterback they've had since Andrew Luck. I don't think that's unfair to say. I mean, Elijah Brown, he's a phenomenal player. You're watching him make these throws right here. I mean, yeah, granted, wide receiver had a couple yards of separation. Still, to lay it on him like that, like, he's got such smooth mechanics, such a good release. He is one of those guys that I would bet on being a starter as a true freshman, and he could bring Stanford back. I mean, let's be honest here. The Pac-12 is losing USC and UCLA, and while you would likely argue that Oregon and maybe Washington with Kalen DeBoer are going to be the tops of the conference, I like what Oregon State's doing. When you bring in a quarterback that has elite upside as a quarterback, again, he's not going to be that massive rushing threat, but as a quarterback, he is phenomenal. What he can do with his mind and his arm, I think that the sky is the limit for Elijah Brown. If they can possibly get him some weapons, man, Stanford could be scary. I don't know if they're going to go back to the Andrew Luck days with Harbaugh, but they're going to be a very scary team. Guys, if you like this kind of content, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn that bell icon on so you don't miss any of these videos. We'll be back with any other starting or high-end recruits that end up committing, and we've got all kinds of other content dropping on the channel.